We appreciate Rotolo's Crafted Crust so much, more than I'll ever be able to truly put into words. But we're here at the Student Center on campus for this afternoon's edition of Inside Bulldog Football. He's Sonny Cumbie, the head football coach of your Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. What a beautiful week, a beautiful afternoon. It's the eve of kickoff, a Halloween homecoming. Thank you everyone who is watching on YouTube. In addition for the show here from the Student Center, La Tech Athletics. If you want to tune in, of course, along the network. If you want to get some questions in, find me at Kyle Schass. Sonny, I'd be lying if I said I truly believed in having a face for radio. We all know I have a mustache for television, so it's good to have the video component here. And it's good to see you live and in living color here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's good to be here. Change of venue, but I think our anticipation and expectation is to still have the great same show that we've had, no matter where we do it, Kyle. And we're glad to be here on campus here at Louisiana Tech and to be able to really bring our show on the road here to the students and looking forward to spending this time with you.
Isn't this beautiful? We have such a great turnout. I didn't know what to expect. My first show on campus, we got some blue bloods, we got students, we have the traffic behind us at the Student Center. It's homecoming week. There's been things going on every single day. You got a tech retreat coming up tonight, a parade and a pep rally, and then, of course, the game tomorrow with Eyeball in town. I mean, you can feel the buzz, you can feel the energy.
Yeah, there's definitely an energy and a buzz to this week. It's the 100th homecoming for Louisiana Tech, and so there's a lot of exciting. You're going to have the parade. You also have the Hall of Fame that's going to go on Saturday, which I'm excited to be able to attend and to support Randy Crouch, who's getting inducted into the Louisiana Tech Athletic Hall of Fame. Was a football player here and is really our coach, is team chaplain, and there's a lot of excitement, and I know there's going to be a great student turnout tomorrow night and a lot of energy, and it'll be fun to see possibly costumes or maybe people dressing up to show up tomorrow night to show off their Halloween spirit, and then also to support your Bulldogs.
An illustrious event, illustrious homecoming. It only happens once that you can celebrate 100 years, as you told me and reminded me earlier this week. And when we spoke last week, Sonny, I knew it was coming. I had hinted it a few times over the past few weeks about the all-black unis that Tech would be wearing. I didn't realize that the secret was out last week at Rotolo's Crafted Crust, that was official news that we can talk about. But I know the guys are juiced up for the all-black look for the first time in program history. Shame on me for not getting the hint though last week for us to talk about it. So reveal, how excited are the guys in this team to be able to don a special look on Friday night?
Well, as usual, I was on the same page as you, Kyle. I didn't really know if we were going to fully divulge about the black uniforms, the black helmets, but our kids. One of the things is someone showed me the video of when Dr. Henderson. And first, I would just again just so thankful for Ryan Ivey and Dr. Henderson for being able to make this happen for our players. I think when you saw the excitement, when you saw the joy, and just the energy and the buzz that they had for those black uniforms, I think it was authentic. It was real, because our guys. They're appreciative and they're grateful for what they have, and they've been looking forward to something like that for a long time. As soon as the schedule came out, when you have a Friday night game on Halloween, I think naturally as the home team you go to, man, that would be awesome to have black uniforms. And so just appreciative of everyone that was able to go into making that happen, because that was a big moment for our players and a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and they've had time to think about it. They've had time to think about what we'll have in terms of what we're wearing with that. And at the end of the day, the main goal for us is to play really well in those black uniforms, and to play winning football in those black uniforms, and then that's what we're looking forward to doing tomorrow night.
June Lee, more affectionately known as Chef Lee, Assistant AD in Creative Services. He does masterful stuff, really helped to cook up something special with the video release of the uniforms that you've seen the last week ahead of the 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday night with Sam Houston in town. Then there's the first photo shoot with Jacob Fields, J-Mac, Major Hand, a wizard with the still photos. Both of those two guys, look, I try to do my part. I try to not be a distraction. Just none of the spotlight should ever be on me. I'm just calling the action. But those two guys, what they put to images, what they put to video in terms of marketing and promoting the brand, I mean, those are two special dudes, and of course the guys who work around them.
No, we're very fortunate. I mean, those guys June Lee and his staff are just unbelievable. Their creativity, the effort that they put into not only just they do all of our athletics, all of our sports, and they put so much time, energy, and effort and creativity into it, and really are cutting edge from the standpoint of what they do. And I think too, it's not only their creativity, but it's also like the joy and the passion you can see them work with and do this with. Every interaction you have with them, you know, they love doing what they're doing, and it's reflected in their work because their work is top notch, and they really provide us with a social media advantage from the standpoint of what they put out.
It really encapsulates the excitement, certainly what they've done this week, each and every time. Those friends are going to be awesome, though, on Friday night. That game against Sam Houston tomorrow night now, 7 o'clock. Our Tech Tailgate will begin at 5:30 along the network. The Hall of Famer Teddy Allen, myself, Ellen Taylor, who's here. Matt McKenney, thank you. Hat tip to you for running things inside our Sports Talk 97.7 studios. Benny Thornell will be back. Ron will have the whole gang together. But the game ends this wonky stretch, Sonny, of 3 games in October. It was last September 27th that the Bulldogs found the win column with the win in El Paso, but this is about as normalized as a routine maybe we've had. None of these games on Saturday still, mind you, but what have you most prioritized with your team following last week's result against WKU with a couple extra days built in?
Well, I think that there's a couple extra days at this point in the season. You still continue to develop the guys that don't get to play a lot. You know, they're going to get a high amount of reps in those 2 practices. Get our guys that do play a lot of snaps on defense, offense, and special teams. Get those guys rested with the time. Stay sharp with their fundamentals. And then once you get back into your normal game planning week, it's really been the same every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, and Thursday, and we have our Fast Friday practice today. And so, you know, you've tried to maintain that same rhythm and routine, and take advantage of the days that you did have from a rest standpoint, from a development of guys who haven't been getting snaps. And then also from a self-scout and opponent prep. And so there's that component of what you're trying to invest your energy with the time that you have into doing. And I think that, you know, I was talking to Coach Young, our offensive line coach, on the way over here. I think, you know, I feel our kids are in that mode where they're ready to play another game. You're in the mode of the season where you can practice, you can prepare game plan wise, but you want to get back into that rhythm of where you're playing once a week. And I think our guys are at that mindset where they're ready to play a winning football game tomorrow night. And then, you know, you have 1 day of rest and then get back and ready for Delaware the following week.
I know a major talking point has been capitalizing on red zone opportunities, short yardage situations. There were a few of those 9 days ago. I know that Tech would have liked to have operated a little bit differently. What level of emphasis has been put on that particular part of the operation with OC Tony Franklin, and how has the offensive side of the football embraced that?
Well, I think Coach Franklin and his staff, they've done a good job offensively. We have as far as like where the shortcomings were in that Western Kentucky game, and how do we get the ball in the end zone. And from the standpoint of, you know, you move the ball really up and down the field for most of the night, minus a turnover on down in the short yardage situation. You throw an interception, and then you have to settle for field goals. And so, you know, there's a couple things. You can take shots from outside of the red zone. You can take shots from the high red zone where you're throwing the ball into the end zone. And then you've got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to, you know, get your quarterback out on the perimeter and get into good matchups with your personnel. And I think that, you know, I think Coach Franklin has put together a really good plan, you know, for Sam Houston in this area. And I think that, you know, we've got guys that can make plays in those areas. And so I think that's the biggest thing is getting those guys in position to make plays. And you know, you saw on the first drive with Trey Everhart. I mean, he's a big target in the red zone, and he went up and made a play on a throw that was put right where it needed to be by Blake, where it was Trey or no one. And so, you know, we've got to do that a little bit more tomorrow night and still have the same production from a yardage output that we had or even more.
We're here at the Student Center on the beautiful campus of Louisiana Tech University. It's Inside Bulldog Football, normally Thursdays at 6 o'clock at Rotolo's Craft and Crust. We certainly appreciate their efforts each and every week. We will return next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Sonny's going to come back for another segment. Then we're going to have Hall of Famer TJ Soto, who played his baseball here in 1997 and 2000. It's Hall of Fame weekend, just adding to all the pomp and circumstance here on campus. And then UB Board President Riley Jones is going to be stopping by for the final segment a little bit later on the show. Before we do break, Sonny, we did talk a lot about Blake Baker and his continued development last week, and you mentioned his feet, and I was hoping we could expand upon that, because I feel like that's been somewhat of a lost art at times with quarterbacks who, you know, think they can do more than what they're trained to do, and they try to play hero ball or gunslinger, and it's a value, it's an art that has been lost in many ways, but Blake has really showed the propensity to be able to use his feet to make plays.
Yeah, Blake has got a really good knack in the pocket of when the clock goes off and when it's time to eject from the pocket, you know, shuffling up and getting yourself through the pocket and taking off for big runs, because some of his biggest runs he's had have been on third downs, you know, where we're maybe in an obvious pass situation in a third and long, and from a coverage standpoint, you know, things aren't there, and he works his way through with good protection, and he's able to take off for a big run. And I think that he's always in the mode of trying to get the ball out of his hand and get it to guys like Devin Gandy, you know, Marlon Jackson, Jalen Mickens, Eli Finley, trying to get the ball out to the backs in the flat. I thought he did a great job of finding Clay in terms of whether it was a check down or whether it was early on in the progression, and allowing our backs to have one-on-one opportunities with defenders in space. And we feel really good about our matchups there as far as our skill players being able to make people miss. And so I think Blake has improved that, has really done a nice job in the pocket of keeping his eyes downfield, working through his progressions, finding the backs when it's not there, and then whenever his feet are called to make a play, he's been able to do that.
Inside Bulldog Football is fueled by Pepsi, the official soft drink provider of Louisiana Tech Athletics. Again, Hall of Famer on the diamond, TJ Soto, joins us in about 15 minutes. 21st class being inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. And Riley Jones to talk more about homecoming, all of the events here on the night before Halloween, the eve of a big-time football game against Sam Houston, 7 o'clock kick from Joe IA Stadium. Inside Bulldog Football continues in a moment from the Student Center on Louisiana Tech's campus here on the Tech Sports Network from Learfield. Apple, Spotify, of course on YouTube via the La Tech Athletics YouTube page. Such a wonderful man. He reminds us, Sonny, as I'm back with the head football coach of the Bulldogs football team, Sonny Cumby, reminds us that it will be a pretty sweet product on television. Sam Houston wearing the orange and Louisiana Tech wearing the all black. But of course, we hope everyone watching is muting the CBS Sports Network television, syncing Teddy and I up. That's always the plan. I should introduce you as Uncle Rico, though.
Yeah.
Can you reveal the inspiration, Sonny, behind what I bore witness to yesterday, part of a departmental Halloween party? I was impressed. Not that I was surprised, but I was happy you were able to come over and show yourself, and you were donning a different get-up, an alternate personality. That was special.
Yeah, that was big. My 12-year-old Gray and my 9-year-old Hayes. That's a movie that we've watched together, Napoleon Dynamite. And so when it came time to Halloween and what are you going to be, Dad? They just thought, hey, man, let's go with Uncle Rico. And so my wife made it happen with ordering the mustache, the headband, a sweet all denim jacket. A jacket that, and so it was during our lunch break. So I did not use any time that I normally don't allocate to getting the Bulldogs better, to don the costume on, go over from about 12 to 12:45, and put on my best Uncle Rico with a football and acting like Matt Terry, our golf coach, had a great suggestion. They should have had a steak on a string and I walked around and kind of threw it like he threw the one and hit Napoleon on the bike. And I wanted to do it for our team meeting, but that movie's in 2004, and I think the sense of humor of that movie is very like specific. I think you think it's really funny, or you just think, man, this is not as funny, it's dumb, but I think it's very funny. But I don't think our guys probably had a great idea who Napoleon Dynamite that movie was. And so I deferred on that. It was just, I don't think they would have been able, because most of them 2004, I don't even know if they were born then. I don't even know if Mike was born before 2004. I mean, he's sitting back there. I don't know. He knows who Napoleon Dynamite and Uncle Rico is. See? Yeah.
Mike Grisha sitting behind my left shoulder here at the Student Center on the campus of Louisiana Tech University.
Hey, if you need some air to fill up, I think you need to get Mike up here. You got some time now. Yeah, this guy's a sharp dude.
He is. He's sharp on the field, off the field. Man, Napoleon Dynamite, though, such an inspirational film for me. I think it was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You were in college, right? At
2004 in college, yep.
Yeah, so you were at Tech. Tina, eat the ham, or you fat lard, Pedro, and a Billie Jean cake. I mean, all the dance moves, everything. I mean, the humor, that's me. I really, it's very relatable.
I had a vote for Pedro t-shirt.
Yes.
I mean, back in the day in college, I had a vote for Pedro, yep.
I had a poster on my wall. Back when posters on the wall were something, that you cared about. Final segment with Sonny Cumbie. Let's focus on the Bearcats here. Their first 5 games may have told one story, Sonny, but with several lopsided defeats, but a 29-27 loss against South Alabama and then 35-17 home loss their last 2 games revealed they're starting to carve out more of an identity.
Well, I think that they are on offense. I think that it starts with their quarterback. Hunter Watson is an incredible competitor. He won a national championship at Iowa Western Junior College, and the kid is competitive. He knows he makes plays with his feet, and he's a very, very tough, gritty player, and he's got talent. I think Coach Longo's really started to play offensively, call it to his skill set. They've got some talented skill players, receivers that have been hurt. So I think that's been a key thing that's held them back offensively. And their running backs are good players. Alton McCaskill and Coco Brown, they're big backs. They're tough to tackle. And I think they're playing better. The New Mexico State game, it's a close game really until the end of the third, fourth quarter, and then there's a couple of takeaways that put some distance in it. You mentioned the Jacksonville State game they played at home, and really they had that game won up until a last-second field goal that Jacksonville State hit to win it and walk it off. And then the UTEP game again was another similar game where it's very close, really for about 3.5 quarters. And then about the middle of the fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, UTEP distanced itself with some takeaways and some quick scores. And so, I think it's a football team that they have talent. They have guys that have been a part of the teams previous that, they had success with. And I think defensively, they're trying to find their footing a little bit. They've got 2 really good corners that are good in coverage. And so I think that, this is a team that's getting better and better. And, as I said, with each week, for us, it is about us, and it's about our preparation, it's about our execution, and our purpose and intent that which we prepare for. And I have been pleased with how our kids have prepared, the intent that they've gone about the week with. And we'll practice this afternoon, we'll have meetings tonight, and then really try to have a chance, opportunity to hunker down from a mental standpoint and get all of our energy and all of our focus towards winning this football game tomorrow night.
Chris Reed has really emerged as a wide receiver for them. 3 catches each of the last 2 weeks, total 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, and certainly will be a test for our secondary and for Luke Olson and this entire side of the football, the defensive unit. How can Luke scheme up, and it's building off of each and every previous week, but against this particular offense and an incumbent starting quarterback who has experience. I think Hunter Watson's making his 19th collegiate start for the Bearcats. In what ways can this defense frustrate Watson and what they're trying to do on offense?
Well, I think it's 19th start at Sam Houston, but you even go back how many games he started in junior college. I mean, you add that to it, and he's probably nearly had 30 career starts at a high level. And I think, again, defensively, it always starts with the run game, and how do you stop the run game? And it's the obvious of the running backs, but how do we contain and stop Hunter Watson and the run game? I think his legs are going to be really important in terms of us having an answer for and doing a great job of always having him accounted for, whether it's the zone read, whether it's in the backside of counter where he pulls the ball, and us having somebody there to tackle him at the line of scrimmage. And then the scrambles and the quarterback draw. I mean, those are things that we have to have a huge awareness of Hunter Watson and his legs. And and I think you mentioned Chris Reed. He has deep ball threat. Tim Burns is a receiver, deep ball threat, and Humphreys number 7. And then also Michael Penix, number 4, is the guys that have played a lot for him in the past, and I think they've been banged up and injured. And those are guys that they can, stretch the field with and make contested catches. But, I really, I like our matchup defensively, against anybody that we go against, just from the standpoint of guys like Mike, Jakari, our corners, our safeties, our linebackers, being able to run and cover people in the passing game. And then I think with our speed, We've got to be at our top speed in terms of making great tackles, which I thought we tackled really well against Western Kentucky. The first half, we got to start the game faster, but I thought we tackled for 4 quarters in that game really well, and we've got to be able to do that in the open field versus their big backs and their quarterback.
Yeah, a couple of really good backs in McCaskill and Brown. We saw special teams hit with the Devin Gandy return for a touchdown. We talked about it a week ago. Rotolo's Grafton Cross. Marlon Jackson proving he's a war dog, as you put it earlier this week when you had met with the media at the receiver position. Blake, his continued growth. We've seen a new wrinkle with Andrew Burnett out of the Wildcat and carrying the football. What's the next gear for this offense in finding win number 5 tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier. You get in the red zone and you score touchdowns. I think that's the big thing for us is to continue to drive the football like we did against Western Kentucky through the air, get a little bit more in terms of yards per carry in the running game, which I think we have a great plan to do so. Coach Young and Coach Franklin and Coach Teddy and Coach Vinny, our offensive line coaches and running back coach, have really put together a good game plan this week. It's specific in terms of what we may see from a front standpoint. Obviously, it always goes back to ball security as well. I mean, games like this, as far as making sure that we make great decisions with the football, we take care of it. I think you talked about special teams. I think kickoff return, and this is the way I think on offense. In defense, we started the season and we had a really good idea of our players, what they could do, and where they were playing. And so you left them there. We faced a little bit of adversity and change, when you lost Colby. And we got that navigated through and figured that out. And then I think on offense and special teams, it was still a little bit of a shuffling of the deck. And I think now that we've really identified our playmakers, we've got them in position to allow them to make plays. And it's the same on special teams in our return units. On punt and return, I think we've really identified our core 11 guys. We found some guys that can return and take it to the house. We've got to be smart in terms of our execution, knowing where the football is going. And I think on kickoff return, it's the same too. I think we've got the pieces in place. It's now about the execution and the refining of that, and being able to do that at a very, very high level for 4 quarters on Friday night.
Devin Gandy just called me. Hopefully he's not trying to run a race because I will burn that man. He will be the feature of our Tech Tailgate on Friday night ahead of St. Louis, Houston. So we'll have a 5-minute conversation with him. It's probably a blood dial.
Now he may be calling in and trying to ask a question about how we can get him more targets.
Yeah, that very well could be.
He may be doing
well.
that.
Yeah, so I got a missed call from DG here. Finally, Sonny, tomorrow night's a game, so it's not a typical Halloween, but in a normal year, is Tamara and the Cumbie household handing out full-size candy bars?
No, we're not handing them out, man. We're trying to go out and attack it. 9 and 12, Hayes and Gray, man, they're all about going out and trying to get some candy. And this year, speaking of Devin, Gray was in the Baby Blues. He'll be out tonight at the Tech trick or treat there at Hideaway Park and just there, I guess north of the stadium. He'll be dressed out in his Louisiana Tech gear. Hayes, my 9-year-old, will be dressed out in my Texas Tech gear, or my helmet anyways. And so if you've got any little football players, just watch out, because there's always a time and place is always right for a tackle football game to break out. And those 2 guys will be looking for it and some candy tonight. But they have a lot of fun with it. They really enjoy Halloween, and there's no better way to do it than winning a football game and Halloween night.
That's beautiful. Sonny, thank you so much. Let's go get a win tomorrow night. Thanks for coming by the Student Center here on campus at Louisiana Tech University.
No, it's great to be here. Appreciate it, Kyle.
That's Sonny Cumbie, the top dog. Again, 7 o'clock is our kickoff. Joe IA Stadium tomorrow. The Bulldogs and the Bearcats of Sam Houston. Coming up next on Inside Bulldog Football, a former Tech baseball star. Not just any ball player, though. Class of 2011 Hall of Fame inductee TJ Soto. Because after all, a new Hall of Fame class will be inducted on Saturday night. That's when we return to the Student Center on campus on Louisiana Tech Sports Network. thanks to Sonny Cumbie, head coach of Louisiana Tech football, for stopping by the Student Center. It's Inside Bulldog football, head of homecoming, 7 o'clock kick, Sam Houston of Louisiana Tech. Coming up on Friday night, a Halloween homecoming centennial celebration. 8-4 will be inducted on Saturday night into the Louisiana Tech Hall of Fame. That's at the TAC, 21st class in Hall of Fame history. And TJ Soto is sitting to my right now. TJ, thanks for coming by, man. You ended your Bulldog career as the program's all-time leader in homers, RBIs, hits, runs, scored, doubles, total bases at the time. Class of 2011, is that right?
Class of 20, but Hall of Fame class of 20.
Hall of Fame class of 2011, class of 2000 overall. You're playing hurt today, man. I'm glad you were able to find us. Are you okay?
I'm good. A little accident. We'll get through it.
Okay. 3 homers in your first 2 college games as a redshirt freshman in 1997, en route to 13 dingers that season, a 325 average, 45 RBIs, en route to a Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year award honor. 3rd-team All-American. You weren't phased even in the slightest on the big stage, even at such a young age.
Well, you know, when you're doing something that you love at a level that it doesn't matter what level it's at, you want to go out and perform your best. And it was the excitement of being a young, ignorant player that I'm just out there to play this game. This is what I get to do, and I love doing it. And stage or not, you're still playing the same game you were playing when you were in high school and even growing up as a kid.
Just young enough, maybe just arrogant enough, cocky enough,
Very
ignorant enough, all of those things. You just come in and make an impact right away. And you were extremely motivated. And really, too, it took an injury, right, at second base for you to earn the opportunity. Mitch McElwain, if my research does me any sort of favors, it was only then that you got your spot. It wasn't like you were a starter entering that season of your redshirt.
That's right. So when I came out of high school, I was a shortstop out of high school, and I was told by the head coach at the time, "You're not good enough to be a shortstop. You're not even good enough to be an infielder at this level. So we're going to move you to the outfield." My true freshman year, they moved me to left field. I obviously redshirted. The very next year, they said, "Okay, we're going to move you to right field." And I was playing behind a really good ball player, Tony March, out in right field. And about 2 weeks before the season started, we were in an inter-squad game, and Mitch got hit in the hand on the pitch, and it broke his hand. And the coach came to me, Randy Davis at the time, and he said, "Hey, look, I know you've played infield before. We got to get somebody in here at second base, at least to cover this for the next 2 weeks. I need you to start coming in early and getting ready." So I did. And that injury was an opportunity for me to step in.
Mitch McElwain had a story, too, a pretty impactful one about a starfish.
That's right.
Take me through that when he knew that you were going to replace him due to the injury that he had sustained, but he had all the trust and faith in you, and he helped to build you up through his words of wisdom.
He is. He's a great man of faith. I love Mitch to death. And he pulled me to the side before the game even started. And he said, "Look, you may think that here we're doubting you, and you may think that you're not ready for this level or this stage right now, but I want to tell you a story." And he said, "The story goes like this: It was a real bad hurricane down on the beach, blew all these starfish up on the beach, and this little girl's walking along, and she's picking up the starfish one by one and throwing them back in the ocean. And she comes across this older couple. The older couple said, 'What are you doing?' And she said, 'I'm saving the starfish.' And the older couple said, 'How can you possibly make a difference? There's thousands and thousands of starfish on the beach.' And she picked up the starfish and she threw it out in the ocean, and she said, 'It made a difference to that one.' And he said, 'You can make a difference too.' And that was the story.
That's a powerful metaphor. Yes, I loved reading that. I'm thankful for Teddy Allen, by the way, for hooking us up, introducing us, and helping to facilitate you here to help us with this homecoming edition of Inside Bulldog Football. 19 homers in each of your next 2 seasons following your redshirt freshman campaign. Tied at Tech, single record with 21 during your senior season in 2000. That included a 2 Grand Slam game against Western Kentucky, the 6th time that had ever happened in Division I, period. What do you remember about that day?
Well, what I remember about that day is that weekend my dad said, when I started my senior year, he said, if I can make it, I'm going to make every weekend I can. And I think that was a 13 or 14-hour drive to Kentucky. So what I remember most is my dad made that trip. But him being there, that day, we were in a situation where we were just hitting the ball really well against Western Kentucky. And I came out my first at bat, bases loaded, and hit a grand slam, and in the same inning, rolled back around another time on the bases loaded and hit another grand slam. And I tell the story that what people don't realize is I had a third opportunity coming up with runners at second and third. First base was open. I was on deck. And the guy at the plate had a 3-0 count and swung at a 3-0 pitch and hit it back to the first with 2 outs, and then in the inning, if he would have walked, I would have had a third at bat.
Who was this? Who was this? Do I have to go dumpster diving for box scores here?
No, we're not going to.
Statute of limitations has extended, but no, that's brutal. You almost had a third shot, third opportunity. You were confident. I mean, what were you thinking in the on-deck circle at the time before he hit the dribbler on a 3-0 count? But I mean, I'm sure the baseball looked like a beach ball.
Oh, it did. It did. And I'm standing on deck, I was thinking to myself, is this really going to happen again? Is this another opportunity that's fixing to come up? Well, I don't know the exact. I don't know if the game ended. We ended up playing obviously a 3-game series, but it was a doubleheader that day, and I hit for the cycle the very next game, so I had another home run in my first at bat the next game, and it was just one of those career weekends that you dream about. I mean, it was a great opportunity, great experience, sharing it with my dad, being up there, and, being a part of history.
How is your dad doing? He texted us, I think it was when we were playing Kennesaw State in Kennesaw. He texted Teddy. We shouted him out on the air. He texted us from a hospital bed. How is he feeling? What's the status of him? He seems like a phenomenal man.
He is. He's the greatest man I know, and he's doing good. He's getting through some things right now. I think we're going to end up having surgery here in about a month or two to remove a gallbladder, but overall, he's in much better health than he was a year ago.
That's great to hear. What is TJ Soto doing with his time now? Enlighten me, because I'm new. I'm still trying to soak up every element of this university, its past, its history, former athletes, current student athletes. Tell me about your story after baseball at Tech and how it's led you to what you're carving out for yourself and your family here today.
After baseball at Tech, I played a little bit of pro ball, and then whenever I hung up the cleats at that time, I started a few businesses up in Kentucky. We built and sold a few businesses. One of the businesses we started there was a freight company, a freight brokerage company, which I still own. I've been there for 22 years. So I do freight, invest in real estate in the community quite a bit. We've got a lot of apartment complexes here. And then right now, chasing kids. I've got all this playing softball and UL. We went down yesterday and watched her, and got back at 2 o'clock this morning. And I'll chase my son down to Mineville next week for football, the rest of my football, and leave straight from there and go back to Lafayette to watch my daughter on Saturday.
I knew you had a son at Ruston High. I think I gleaned some of that from social media. But your daughter's at ULL?
Yes.
Okay, we do call it ULL since you're a Tech guy, or Lafayette, nothing else, right? Like we don't conform to any sort of branding guidelines. Yeah, SLU, of course, yeah, go way back. Was that weird? Was that awkward at the time of her recruitment and all of that? I mean, you want her to carve out her own legacy.
I do, and no, I wouldn't say it was weird. It was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise. She blew out her knee her sophomore year in high school. Had surgery her sophomore year to repair her ACL and her meniscus, so she was out for almost 14 months. She came back the junior year and played, but was still having a little issues with her knee. And then her senior year, right before her senior season, she had a second surgery. She got recruited by Jerry Glasgow to go down to Lafayette and play, and that's a top 25 program. So for your daughter to have an opportunity to do something like that, you definitely are excited about it, regardless of where it's at. Would I love for her to be here at Tech? Yeah, that's just selfish on my part. Wanting to have her close, be able to sit here and watch practices and games and things like that. She's carving her own path down there. She went into her freshman year, hurt her knee again in the fall, had a third surgery, and they redshirted her that year. So she's a redshirt sophomore right now, and looking forward to really trying to get back on track. She's looked stronger than I've ever seen her. She's swinging the bat really well, but she got 10 at-bats late in the season last year. That's it. So I'm excited for the upcoming season and see what takes place.
That's awesome. I'm sure you're a very proud papa
Very
of
much
both
so.
your children.
Very much so.
Will you be at Saturday night's Hall of Fame ceremony?
I won't leave because I'll be down in Lafayette watching her play. She's got 2 games left in the fall, so we're leaving out Friday from Palm. We're driving down, staying the night in Lafayette. And Saturday afternoon, we'll be back in town.
Well, you were inducted in 2011, class of 2020. Your baseball career began at Tech in 1997, but the 21st class is inducting 8 new individuals Saturday night at the Thomas Assembly Center. They include Ronnie Alexander, who, by the way, you can find a conversation with our very own Jerry Bird along the network that will release to the Tech Drive podcast feed. It's about 30 minutes with Ronnie. That's going to come out overnight, so into Friday morning. That'll be in your podcast feed. If you miss any portion of the show, what we discussed with Sonny earlier today, or Riley Jones here in a little bit, the UB board president, you can always catch that on the podcast on Tech Drive. That'll be available later on tonight. But in addition to Ronnie Alexander, you got Randy Crouch, Billy Rickman, Ray Germany, Wayne Smith, Cheryl Ford, Gary Stanley, and Sam Wilkinson. Cheryl Ford, one of the most dominant lady texters. Sam Wilkinson, longtime athletic trainer, went by Chief. They overlapped with your period of being here, correct?
They did. So I remember Cheryl, but what people don't know is Sam actually was a I've known Sam and the Wilkerson family for a while, and you know, he was a phenomenal person to have a part of the programs that we were participating at the time. And when I saw his name come up on the ballot, there was not hesitation at all to put the bid in for him because of what he's dedicated himself to over his lifetime to Louisiana Tech, and not just to Tech, but the community. Some of us that were prior to Tech, Ruston High group, even all the way down to the Dixie Ball Bears that were here, Sam was a part of. So great name.
I'm unaware of why he gets the nickname Chief. I know why Sifa Leota on the football team this year has the nickname Chief and last year, but can you provide any details on that? Do we know why he's nicknamed
really
Chief?
Don't know.
Okay, all right, we're gonna have to dig. I'll put my PI unit. I'm a private investigator myself, part-time, obviously, in preparation for you being here today, and so many others throughout the year. But yeah, we'll have to get on that. Sam Wilkinson, find me on Instagram, Twitter, whoever it is. If you know the story, maybe I just, this dad-headed brain of mine just hasn't done the work in the Google machine to find out myself. But find me at Kyle Shass. You have some Tech bloodlines beyond just yourself too, and your daughter's at ULL, your son's at Ruston High. But it's a place that really tugs on your heartstrings. We know in so many different ways. But your sister, Tori, she was a cheerleader too, correct?
That's correct. She was a cheerleader, and I think up until the last maybe 2 or 3 years, she was the head cheerleading coach here.
Okay.
So she came back and poured back into the girls that she coached at the time frame that she was here. She cheered here for 4 years. And I've got 2 brothers that went here. And then my mom was a alumni as well.
Wow. If you were able to play another sport, were you gifted athletically enough? I imagine you were if you set your mind to it. We already know how motivated you were, but what other sport might you have been able to play? Was football something if you applied yourself here at Tech, maybe?
I don't know about here at Tech. Football was a sport that I loved growing up. I actually loved football more than I loved baseball. I started school early. I was a late developer. I actually started Tech at 17. I didn't turn 18 until we were in the school year, my freshman year. So I was the runt growing up and went through the junior high, through the freshman year at Ruston High. As being a small guy on the football field who had a love for the game, I got knocked around quite a bit. And after my freshman year, my 6th concussion, I decided to hang it up for baseball and did a hit my nose for about 6 inches. And I wish I would have stuck with football.
Yeah. Final thing I have for you, TJ. TJ Soto, a Hall of Fame here, Hall of Fame inductee at Louisiana Tech. Before I let you go on Inside Bulldog Football, Centennial Homecoming Celebration, 7 o'clock, the football game Friday night, Joe IA Stadium, Sam Houston and Louisiana Tech. Talk to me about the ballpark, because it was a different love shack when you were here. So what are some of your fondest experiences of the character, the charm of where you played your games at home, and then what you take from the new facility that has since been here on campus over the last few years?
Well, the old facility is always going to be the love shack. The new facility is always going to be the love shack. It's always going to be the love shack. But back in that era, whenever I was there, the wooden fence that was out there, the monster wall was all wooden. You had concrete down the left field line that's no longer there. Obviously, you got student housing out there. Some of my fondest memories is being out during batting practice or every game, and me being a home run hitter. I love to see the ball hit the yard. It was always fun to see how far it could go. Now I get to watch these guys now hit it off the building, and I think to myself, I was like, I wonder if I would have hit it off that building. I wonder if I would have hit it through that window. So the new stadium has brought a different level of excitement, along with the coaching staff and the players. The culture that Lane Williams has created there is just unbelievable. It's unmatched. He's probably one of the best coaches I've ever been around. Having conversations with him, how he thinks, what he goes about doing, and the way he prepares those kids is just unbelievable. I got a chance to go out and watch them play Sunday. It was the first time I got to watch them all fall, and I got there a little late, but I got to see the last 2 innings. And I sat down. And as soon as I sit down, somebody comes to the plate and hits a home run. And I was like, "This is good." And then they run a kid out on the mound that's throwing 96, and I'm like, "I didn't see that when I was here." And then they run another kid out that's like 94, and then I see two more home runs. average 200 or 300 people a game. And you see thousands of people here every week. And playing in front of an atmosphere like that, when I got to the next level, is energizing. And I can't imagine playing at a level like that in college with a supporting staff that not only can hit, can pitch, can play defense, but they work together as a team because coaches bring that unity together.
Beautiful stuff. You just cut a promo, an excellent one for Tech Baseball and Louisiana Tech University. TJ Soto, Hall of Famer, played Tech Baseball 97 through 2000. Thank you so much for coming by on this celebratory week, 100 years of homecoming. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
Inside Bulldog Football will continue in a moment. Union Board President Riley Jones, that's when we return to campus here on the Louisiana Tech Sports Network. Continuing to celebrate Tech's 100th homecoming here on Inside Bulldog Football. We're here at the Student Center on campus. Tech football hosts Sam Houston. It's a 7 o'clock kick from Joe IA Stadium. 5:30, our Tech tailgate will begin along Louisiana Tech Sports Network from Learfield, Teddy Allen, and myself. There's the Bulldog Walk of Pride at 4:45 on Friday. Volleyball plays New Mexico State at 2 o'clock inside the TAC. Saturday at 1 inside Memorial. A few great events tonight, too, and I bet our next guest will be taking in some of that here to help discuss. Union Board President Riley Jones is with me. Thanks for coming by, Riley. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You're living the dream. It's homecoming week. You have your hand in so many different things and activities. You were on the 1894 podcast just the other day,
Yes,
right?
I
Correct?
was,
So
yes.
I'll try not to ask some of the same questions, but if folks want to learn more about Riley, make sure you go check out that feed. Of course, the official podcast of Louisiana Tech University. So we'll touch on a couple of those items. But you're a senior from Fort Worth, majoring in digital marketing, correct?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I told you all I'm a private investigator. I think I was on your LinkedIn page for a good 30 minutes yesterday. What are you hoping to do once you graduate and go full throttle with your career?
Well, I'm hoping to move back to Dallas. Hopefully I get there. And I'm hoping I can get a job somewhere with American Airlines Center. I would really love to work in sports marketing, preferably in hockey or concerts at American Airlines Center. Big hockey girl, big sports girl, big event planner. I really want to plan events any way I can, anywhere I can.
Dallas, what a night I had yesterday. So my daughter is in town for the first time here in Ruston. Pudge, Kylan, she's sitting behind me. Her mother, Jamie, her brother, Kanan. Kanan's a Louisiana person now. He lives in Baton Rouge, but they were flying from Greensboro last night. Delay after delay after delay, we found out there's no way they're going to make their Monroe connection in Dallas. So at 5:45 last night, it's a break glass situation. I drive to Dallas, to the DFW, All right.
That's crazy.
And then pick them up by 10:45, and we drive all the way back. I got to my apartment about 3:15. I didn't have 9 hours on the road last night on my bingo card this week during homecoming because I tried to get everything else ready. But hey, the family is here, and we were very impressed. I'd never driven through Dallas ever, and at night the lights. I mean, it was. And I'm from Chicago, but I was very appreciative. I'm like, this is awesome. It's a really cool city.
Hey, it is. Learning how to drive through Dallas, I mean, I'm a speed whiz now, and if you don't drive like 20 miles over the speed limit in Texas, you're not going fast enough.
Yeah, I just, my dad lives in Katy outside Houston now in the Texas Pride. I mean, that's a real thing.
It is.
That airport is like a Walt Disney resort.
Oh my goodness, it is. I've got Boston.
I mean, what is going on? I'm going to be flying out with basketball. By the way, basketball season starts on Tuesday. Our tip-off show for the men's side will begin at 8:30. We'll be playing at Nevada in Reno. We'll be flying out of Dallas on Monday morning, so I'll be getting a full tour of the DFW and that airport at that time. Here with Riley Jones, let's talk about your participation on the Louisiana Tech Union Board. So one of the largest student-funded organizations on campus. What do you love most about it?
The people, obviously, they are the reason I fell in love with the organization. I love event planning. I love getting to serve the student body, but really at the end of the day, it's who I get to serve with. I've met my best friends through that organization, and getting to serve the best campus in the entire world with them has been the biggest blessing.
More details on exactly what the Union Board, the UB Board is, can be found on that 1894 podcast. So again, I direct you to go check that out. Who did you do that podcast with?
My Vice President, Landon Jones.
Okay. Let's pivot and talk about tonight. So we've got a parade that starts at 6 o'clock on campus, pep rally at the steps of the TAC, Tech Madness to celebrate the start of basketball, and the Tech or Treat, which includes a trunk or treat, and Hideaway Park is a major backdrop to all of this. So take us through the events, the activities, and what folks and families can expect here tonight on campus.
Yeah, so our biggest thing about Tech or Treat is we have a haunted maze. It's in Hideaway Park. We have 5 pavilions. It's basically a trail you take, and you have a whole bunch of Union Board members in there that are ready to scare you. And then closer to the top of Archer Pavilion, we have our mocktails, we'll have candied apples, we'll have popcorn, we'll have our trunk or treat. We have a really big trunk or treat this year. We got about 35 cars that are going to be there. And then we'll have free t-shirts, of course, with your Tech ID. And we'll have lots of photo opportunities. Basically, hopefully we're really trying to get it into more of a community event. That's kind of why we added in that trunk or treat element. But just a big Halloween event.
So the students can get a free tea as long as they show their ID, but everybody is welcome. And this is families, anybody in the community in Northern Louisiana. If you're listening now, you want to come. I mean, all of that sounds spooktacular. Can we use that term? It's
yeah,
spooky season.
that's good.
I definitely got to drop that on the broadcast now. Sadie has to text me. Sadie Penn, send me spooktacular so I don't forget to use that word. Tomorrow night for the broadcast, 5:30 Tech Tailgate ahead of the 7 o'clock kick. Did you mention the mechanical pumpkin?
Oh my goodness, no, I didn't. We'll have a mechanical pumpkin.
What is that?
It's like a mechanical bull, but it's a pumpkin instead of a bull.
Holy smokes!
It's awesome.
Where do I sign?
I don't even think you have to sign. You just got to get in line.
I probably got to sign a waiver though, right? Like what?
No,
Okay.
they'll just let you on.
Cool. That's incredible. Parade at 6, starts at Talbot Hall. Roll down West Alabama Ave, eventually conclude at the TAC, and pep rally. There's fireworks too, right?
Yes, provided by athletics.
Okay, so athletics is doing that aspect of it. What will the parade consist of? Are there floats? Like, this is my first experience of it. Like what does a homecoming parade entail in terms of visually what folks will see along the route?
Hey, it's going to have lots of organizations, businesses, and a homecoming corps. Garrick Safatter is on Union Board, Annie Hurd on Union Board. They're both on homecoming corps. They'll be driving through there. They'll be throwing their cups, their buttons, all that, having a good time, and then they'll end right at the steps of the TAC. We'll go into our pep rally, have some fun, get ready for our homecoming tomorrow, and then they'll shoot off fireworks and go into Tech or Treat.
What does homecoming mean to you?
For me, like, as a senior at Tech, it's my last one, and really, I'm kind of just trying to lean into it. I'm kind of just trying to take it all in. It's my last one. I got to be really appreciative of where I'm at, who I'm with, and the best school in the entire world that's given me the biggest blessings I could ever ask for.
Are you wearing a costume to the football game?
I am not. I am wearing my cute little homecoming outfit.
You hear that cute little homecoming outfit Friday for the game as I look at my daughter. What's your favorite kind of candy?
Oh gosh. Okay, listen, I'm probably gonna get called a grandma somewhere, but I love an almond joy.
Ooh.
I really do, coconut and almonds and chocolate. That's amazing. That should be an everyday thing.
That's a deep cut. I can concur. Big almond joy guy. I try to stray away from chocolate unless it's a chocolate chip cookie, which isn't candy. But I'll eat a dozen of those at one time, especially my homemade ones. But I tend to shy on the sweet side. Whether it's Skittles, Starburst, Airheads. Devin Gandy loves Airheads. Listen to his pregame interview Unleashed ahead of the Sam Houston broadcast tomorrow night at 5:30. But Sour Patch, Swedish Fish, that sort of thing. Have you ever had the jelly beans during Easter time that Jolly Rancher puts out?
No.
You can
I think
crush
the
a whole
only
bag
time I've
of
ever
those.
had a jelly bean was whenever they had what's the gross jelly beans, like the jelly bean challenge
yeah,
thing that was
yeah, with
happening
the
in like
taste.
2016.
Yeah, that still goes on. Trust me. It's probably been in the last year or two that I was asked to do one of those. Out of high school, what interested you most about coming to Tech? Why is it that you chose Ruston and this university?
Well, at the time I was actually a music major, and really it was just a coincidence. I was at the end of my senior year, and transparently, I didn't know where I was going to go to college. I had met the DFW coordinator for Tech, and she was like, just apply. We have a growing music industry program. And I was like, okay, I will. I applied, and they were just the school that offered me the most money. It was out of Texas, which was one of my biggest requirements. And then I came here. I fell in love with Union Board. I fell in love with Tech. I ended up changing to digital marketing into my sophomore year. But, I mean, I coincidentally ended up here, and it was the best decision I ever made.
That's beautiful. Terry Bradshaw and Cakes Brooks, by the way. I just learned. Thank you, Kyle Kavanaugh, for the hat tip. We'll be at the parade tonight as we close the loop with Riley Jones, the UB board president, here on Inside Bulldog Football Homecoming Week. Anything else you'd like to add about yourself, or anything we've missed about what people can expect tonight and tomorrow into the weekend?
It's going to be awesome. That's all I
Okay,
gotta add.
it will be. It will be. Support the dogs, support the Lady Texers, Tech Madness. Again, tonight, the parade starts at 6 o'clock. Riley, thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate
Hey,
it.
thanks for having me.
We'll drop the curtain on this homecoming extravaganza when we return in a moment to the Student Center of the Inside Bulldog Football from Learfield. Rotolo's Craft and Crust next Thursday. That's November 6th, and the Bulldogs visit to Newark, Delaware, of all places. A CUSA first ever matchup with the Blue Hens. It's Delaware and Louisiana Tech next weekend. So we'll be back at Rotolo's Craft and Crust. I am the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Shasberger. We're here at the Student Center on the beautiful campus of Louisiana Tech University. Many thanks to Sonny Cumbie for stopping by here this afternoon, and of course TJ Soto, Hall of Famer here at Tech. We'll have our 21st class inducted coming up on Saturday at the Thomas Assembly Center. Riley Jones, our UB board president, also for coming by. Everyone behind the scenes, Matt McKinney, inside our network studios, Ellen Taylor, my engineer, Jack and Carson as well. I am the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Shasberger. We'll talk to you at 5:30, our Tech tailgate ahead of a 7 o'clock kick between Sam Houston and Louisiana Tech. That's Friday night. It's Halloween. It's a centennial homecoming celebration. We'll talk to you along the network again at 5:30 ahead of that 7 o'clock kick. Bulldogs looking to improve to 5-3 on the season and 3-2 in conference play. Go Dogs.